Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be explaining the ranks one could achieve in the Imperial Army. The first rank is an Imperial Army soldier. These guys were below Stormtroopers, and from what I can gather, they're pretty much just civilians who fight for the Empire. The next rank is Stormtrooper. This is the lowest rank in the Imperial Stormtrooper Corps, and these guys were expendable. This was the most common rank in the Imperial Army. There are also some Stormtroopers who wear black shoulder pauldrons. Some sources that I've come across say that these guys are actually lance corporals, but I'm not sure if that's canon or not. The next rank is a Stormtrooper Corporal. These guys were identified by having a gray shoulder pauldron. The next rank is a Stormtrooper Sergeant. They were identified by having a white shoulder pauldron. After that is a Stormtrooper Senior Sergeant. They wore orange shoulder pauldrons. The next rank is a Stormtrooper Sergeant Major. They were identified by wearing a red shoulder pauldron. And finally, the highest Stormtrooper rank is a Stormtrooper Officer Cadet. They were identified by wearing a blue shoulder pauldron. Now we get into the officers. The first officer rank was a Stormtrooper Officer. They were identified by wearing a line of 4 blue squares. Next is a Lieutenant. They were identified by having 1 red square on the top and 1 blue square on the bottom. Next is a Senior Lieutenant. They were identified by having 2 red squares on the top and 2 blue squares on the bottom. The next rank is a Captain. Captains were identified by having 3 red squares on the top and 3 blue squares on the bottom. Captains were the highest rank of people that would actually fight in battle. The next rank is a General. They were identified by having 4 red squares on the top and 4 blue squares on the bottom. Generals commanded an entire army. The next rank is High General. High Generals were identified by having a line of 6 red squares. High Generals commanded entire corps. The next rank is Moff. Moffs were identified by having 6 red squares on the top and 6 blue squares on the bottom. Moff was the rank held by sector governors. They commanded certain sectors of space. Moffs were generally appointed by the Emperor. The final rank one could achieve in the Imperial Army was Grand Moff. Grand Moffs were identified by having 6 blue squares on the top, 3 red squares on the bottom left, and 3 yellow squares on the bottom right. Grand Moffs held a lot of power and had a large amount of liberty to subdue insurrectionist regions of space, and as such had the authority to deploy and command Imperial military resources. They also were allowed to put bounties on people's heads. Grand Moffs were appointed by the Emperor. Well, that's going to do it, guys. If you guys like this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.